Hello everyone. I am Dr. Dipanjali Borse working at Srimati Pushpata Hire Mahila Mahavidyalay Maligaon camp. Hope you have watched earlier two videos based on Act 1st and Act 2nd. Now in this video we are going to see about Act 3. Act 3 is entitled as Entanglements. That means it has confusions and complications in the scenes. The first scene is transformation of bottom. This scene is happened in the wood where Titania still lies sleeping peacefully. Queen's snug, bottom, flute, snout, and starveling, all these artisans meet as they arranged for a rehearsal of the play. Queens chooses a suitable spot and suggests that they start speaking their lines right away. But Bottom is not so sure now that the play they have chosen to enact before the Duke and Duchess is a suitable one. It appears that in the play, Pyramus, the hero, must draw a sword and kill himself, and Bottom points out that this may upset the ladies in the audience. He suggests that a prologue be written telling the audience of the killing and assuring them that it is a weaver who is taking the part of Pyramus. This is agreed upon, but Bottom then brings up another objection. He is afraid that the roaring of the lion in the play will also upset the ladies and suggests that another prologue be written explaining it is not a real lion and that half of Snug's face should be shown through the lion's neck in proof of this. This modification is also agreed upon, and the members of the cast sit down to rehearse their lines. Puke enters from behind and is amazed, surprised, to find such coarse or rough fellows rehearsing a play so near to the fairy queen's sleeping place. He decides to stay and listen and even to take an active part if necessary. Bottom speaks his lines and then, according to stage direction, leaves the stage, followed by the mischievous Puke. The other members of the cast continue with the rehearsal. After some time, Puke and Bottom re enter on the stage. But in place of his own head, Bottom has now an ass's head. But Bottom doesn't know about it. He is unknown about this thing. His friends, that means all artisans observing this strange transformation, are in a state of terror. Puke is determined to enjoy himself at the expense of the luckless Bottom. He determines to follow Bottom wherever he may go. Snout and Queen's latter return, but as they cannot convince Bottom of his changed appearance, they also depart from the stage. The viewer is unable to understand the actions of his friends and thinks that they are trying to make an ass of him in order to frighten him. He decides to show them that he is not afraid and walks up and down in an open space singing loudly. Titania is awakened by the singing, which pleases her, which makes her happy. The first living object seen by the fairy queen on her awakening is Bottom, who is walking arrogantly up and down with his ass's head on, and because of the magic fluid which has been poured into the queen's eyes by Oberon, she falls violently in love with Bottom. Bottom now wants to leave the wood, but Titania refuses to let him go. She calls upon her fairies, Peace Blossom, Cobweb, Moth, and Mustard Seed, to take charge of the unlucky weaver and to treat him kindly and well. Titania further instructs her fairies to lead her loved one silently to her bower, that means a pleasant shady place under the trees, and they all depart. Scene second is about further complications. Scene second is in another part of the wood. Oberon sits thinking whether Titania has yet awakened and whether the magic fluid has taken effect. Puke enters and informs his master that Titania has fallen in love with a monster. He tells Oberon how he came across a group of men rehearsing a play and how he changed one of them into an ass. It is with him that Titania has fallen in love. Puke also tells his master that he has carried out his order and has dropped the magic juice into the eyes of the Athenian male. Meanwhile, Demetrius and Hermia enter, and Oberon realizes that Puke has put the juice of the flower into the eyes of the wrong man. Hermia is sure that Demetrius has killed Lysander in a fit of jealousy and so scolds him for being a murderer and asks Demetrius to kill her as well. Demetrius assures her that he has not killed Lysander, nor does he know where he is. Hermia, however, is very angry and furious and tells Demetrius that she has always hated him and wishes never to see him again. She goes away and Demetrius goes down below to the ground in exhaustion. Oberon scolds Puke for making such an error and commands him to search the wood for Helena and to bring her before him so that he may make Demetrius fall in love with her when he awakes. Puke goes suddenly and soon returns, bringing with him Helena and the lovesick Lysander, who is still trying to convince the reluctant Helena of his love for her. The sleeping Demetrius is awakened by the talking, and upon seeing Helena, he falls in love with her. By this time, poor Helena is so confused that she is convinced that there is some plan to make her look foolish. Both Demetrius and Lysander are now rivals for the hand of Helena, and both are loud in their claims upon her. Hermia, who is still seeking the lost Lysander, is attracted to the scene by the sound of their voices. She asks Lysander why he left her, and he tells her that his love for Helena would not let him stay at her side. It is now Hermia's turn to be confused, and Helena, thinking that her friend has some part in the plan to mock her, became angry with Hermia and scolds her for joining in the plot against her. Hermia is at a loss to understand her friend's sudden fierce attack on her, but Helena refuses to believe that she is innocent. Lysander tries to impress upon Hermia that he is no longer in love with her but is in love with Helena. It is now Hermia's turn and she scolds Helena, rebukes Helena for having stolen Lysander from her. Angry words pass among the four, and eventually Demetrius and Lysander depart to fight. Hermia and Helena use more angry words at each other until they also depart. Oberon, who has been a silent witness of all this unpleasantness, now decides to end it once and for all. He instructs Puke to lead Demetrius and Lysander on a chase for each other through the wood until they are so tired that they fall asleep. He gives Puke a juice which he instructs him to put in Lysander's eyes when he is asleep, so that when he awakes, all that has passed will be like a dream, and he will love Hermia once more. While Puke is on his mission, Oberon will return to the queen and beg for the Indian boy. He will also release Titania from the monstrous charm, and then everyone will be at peace. Puke hurries away to carry out his instructions and imitating first Demetrius's voice and then Lysander's voice, he leads the rivals a merry dance through the wood looking for each other until they are so exhausted, so tired that they lie down to sleep. Helena now re enters and saying that she is also very tired and exhausted from the long and dull night, she also falls asleep. The next to appear is Hermia, and she too is very tired and falls asleep. Puke then squeezes the juice into Lysander's eyes and saying that all will be well and departs from the stage. So the purpose of scene second is or this scene is the climax of the play. It presents the second complication in diverting Demetrius's love to Helena. It provides the audience the quarrel between Lysander and Demetrius and Helena and Hermia as well as provide the solution of the lovers' difficulties. Thank you. We will see Act 4 in the next video.